Hey Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel where it's all Juve all the time. I'm Alberto and I've got Omar joining me this morning. Omar, how's it going, man?
Everything is good. Hopefully, a nice match today to ease things down. So I'm ready.
Yes. Yes, we got Salernitana. So Salernitana versus Juventus this morning, and we're gonna see if the lads can get it right. They basically have to. This next run of matches is extremely important for them and where they're gonna finish in the tables. I know that it's really only 5 league matches, but yeah, it will drastically change the outcome if we can't get it right. So Salernitana, really, Allegri's words were doesn't matter who's out there, it has to be a win, and he's right. That also doesn't excuse him though, because he needs to start to right this ship, and soon, because there's a lot of talks about what happens and what ifs based on results, and if the team continues to slide and whatnot. And really, I don't see a managerial change as an option whatsoever for this team based on where Juventus sits financially, based on everything. I cannot see a scenario where we move away from another manager, especially having tied into a contract for 4 years with Max Allegri. So everybody that's talking about that, I would probably, yeah, not set your hopes on any kind of managerial change. Can't see it happening. We got some guys joining us right off the bat. Jeremy, ciao. Alex, ciao. Cliff, what up? Al and Benucci. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Omar.
Where is Bob? I'm missing Bob. He's always here first.
Yeah, we're waiting for Bob. Bob's gonna make it in. Bob's
Yeah.
always with us. So
Never
yeah,
Bob.
managerial change. We just don't see that being an option whatsoever. You agree with that, Omar?
Yeah. No point in changing managers, even though Allegri has his faults and should come under criticism. It's way too early to change manager. There's no point in doing it whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. Omar, what version of Benucci? Which version of Benucci would you choose? Which season? Had to be the
Uh,
BBC.
yeah, I'll take the Bari season with Andrea Ranocchia before he moved to Juve. That was actually a fantastic season, and Ranocchia moved to Inter and Bonucci to Juve. Back then, Inter were the champions and everything, and Juve were in the toilets. And everyone thought Ranocchia would be the better defender, but as history taught us, don't know what Ranocchia is doing today. Probably has a hot dog stand outside of the Giuseppe Miazza, and Bonucci is still rocking it at 35.
Yeah,
So I'll take that Bonucci.
absolutely, absolutely. And we got some more joining us. Prince Beckford, good morning. CJ, ciao, ciao. And Cliff kind of, yeah,
Right off the bat.
reiterating what we're kind of talking about, which is one of the main issues with Juve has been consistency at the manager position. They need to keep a manager to stay for more than a season. Yeah, they need to start having the mercados associated with their managers. It's making things very, very difficult. We are going to get a little bit more into this. Mohammed coming in here. Good morning. Did you hear about the investigation today? Yes, we will talk about the investigation. And of course, our friend Animesh. Ciao, ciao. So, with the investigation, of course, some of the characters were being investigated, and that was Cherubini um, and Arriva Bene, although Arriva Bene wasn't really associated with anything. There are reports that there are phone calls where Juve is essentially acknowledging what they're being accused of and whatnot. And they have over 1,000 documents apparently supporting all of their thesis and their theory on what Juve has done. None of it's going to come to the forefront until the very end of the investigation, which is said to be a month. So they're thinking about a month. Now, we have to keep in mind everything you're going to be hearing is going to be tabloids and everything trying to just get those clicks and trying to just get as much exposure from it as possible. um I still feel the same way as I did at the start of this investigation. I'm really, I can see anything, absolutely anything happening because we've been through it. And I know when these guys push and certain characters involved, and there's always people in the background that have connections here and there. And you never really know what's going to happen. Usually, when things like this come up, they don't leave empty-handed. Something's gonna be dished out. To what degree, to what level, nobody really knows, but I cannot see a scenario where they just close up this case and say, "Okay, that's it. Nothing came of it." Can't see that happening. Something will come, we just don't know the degree or the level. As far as, the actual, um investigation and everything that's going through. All teams do this. Some of the things you hear again in speaking about the media and the coverage on this investigation is so vague and just generic and stuff. And it's like, well, no, we have proof that these numbers are just coming up in terms of negotiation. Of course they would. When else would these numbers come up? And what difference does it make if you think a player is worth book value of 3 million and Juve can sell him for 6 or 7? Of course they're going to sell him for 6 or 7 if they can. So it's all very, very vague, and there's a massive, massive gray area. And again, they're not the only team that does it, but just like anything else, Juve will always, always be maximized for exposure. And if anyone in Italy can make an example of Juventus, they won't hesitate at the chance. Omar, your thoughts on kind of what I've said here and some of your own feelings about the investigation and what's happening.
You summed it up pretty accurately. Don't fall into false news because the media they're looking for blood, and the second they sniff something, they hop on it. So they're going to publish a lot of big headlines. Wait for the credible guys to post stuff about it. Don't fall into all the Sun and all these newspapers that just look for headlines to get clicks. I feel it's like some sort of a witch hunt, waiting for Juve to be down so they can batter them. I feel like it's coming from people who support other clubs and kind of infuriated them how good Juve have been. So they, just try to punch Juve out of the game. Hopefully, it won't work. If Juve is going down for some reason, then they should take down everyone with them because it's not only Juve. We're not the only club who operates that way. It's been like that forever in football, and it will continue to be like that. That's why I don't get where all of this is coming from and what are the motives behind it. Because the last time it happened, the Italian league, like Serie A, were at the top and then they dropped all the way to the bottom. And they basically gave everything to Inter, and it took us like 10, 15 years to get the Serie A back on track and back as a talking point and making the other clubs bigger. Because last time it happened, it was awful for the entire league, not just for Juve.
Yeah, and I think that's the part that's frustrating the most is, and it's the major reason why when I hear other fans, even Juventini, say that, oh, we should support these other teams in Italy. And I'm always strict on my stance. I could care less about any of the other clubs. It's situations like this that make me feel that way because through all this time while the league was trash, Juventus made it relevant and was keeping it afloat. And they brought Cristiano Ronaldo also into the league. We had a ton of talent, we had a ton of exposure. And then the second there's something that they can do to sink Juventus, they don't hesitate. And you don't see any other teams banding together with them to say, hey, you know what? No, we need Juventus in this league. Like we need them clean. And the fact that Serie A as a whole is making itself an absolute joke because just the way they allow all these things to unfold and have their top, like one of their top teams over the past decade, to go over things like this and just absolutely no protection. They allow all this drama because they love drama, and in the end, it just makes their league look like an absolute joke, and it's absolutely laughable. So everybody that wants to see Syria, rise and come above and become strong again like it was in the 90s, it's just I don't see it happening because they keep tripping on their own dicks with the way they handle scenarios and situations, and they won't allow this league to be any better than it was. Another reason why you could clearly see why Agnelli would want the Super League. Um, it becomes more and more evident with each day that passes why he would push so strongly for something like that, and to get away and start making moves. You see it with other leagues, the financial fair play bias to certain clubs that they get away with and whatnot. There's no way to make gains there. And then you look in your own home, in your own backyard in Serie A, and what happens? It's it's laughable. What do you
Maybe
think?
part of the reason we need a Super League is because the Italian leagues became weak after Calciopoli, because it was a major attraction for players from all over. If this thing hasn't happened back in '06, you could have seen something completely different in Europe, where players are going, where the power shifts. It kind of knocked one of the best leagues in the world at that time out of the park and basically left just England and Spain, and they gained momentum. They gained all the best players, all the revenue, all the money from the TV rights and everything. And it's kind of what led us to where we are actually right now. So
Yeah.
hopefully nothing like that happens again. It's bad for all of Italy, not just Juve.
Yeah, and well, time will tell. But as far as everybody, and the questions that come up in the live chat in regards to investigation, just take it one day at a time. Don't dive too deep into the rumors and what you see and what's being fed by the media. Wait it out and see what happens at the end. There's a part of me that just can't fathom Agnelli not being smart enough to allow something like this to even happen, or I can't see it. I can't see him jeopardizing everything like that. So, and again, we know that these things happen all the time, and the premise of the entire investigation has such a massive gray area. So it's really just I think another attempt at those involved to put a nail in Juve's coffin. That's what they want to do. It's ridiculous, but here we are. In terms of Agnelli himself, there are many Juventini out there that are saying he needs to go away. And they're asking the question, when will John Elkin say it's enough and move away from Agnelli? Now, we've got a few of the other team members' thoughts on it, but we haven't got Omar's yet. So, Omar, now that you're joining me today, and everybody that's on the live this morning, love to hear your thoughts quickly in the chat here if it's time to move away from Agnelli.
It's it's kind of a tough question because first of all, we have to attribute everything that happened in the past decade to him, and he's been Juve through and through since the day he was born. He's probably a bigger fan than any of us. He knows more than any of us, even before he was the CEO of Juve. So let's not make him, just someone to lash out on, because the man loves Juve and did everything he could and invested all the time he had in the world making Juve better. The fact that it didn't work in the past couple of years shouldn't tarnish his entire legacy. So it might be time to move from him. I kind of like the idea that Juve are the club with the longest standing ownership. There isn't another club in Europe that has been dominated by the same family for this many years. So I don't know. It depends if it keeps going downhill from here, because I don't know. The man has given so much to Juve, and just throw him under the bus and make him pay for everything. He has a lot of faults. He done a lot of things that aren't good, and made the club worse actually. But it's worse than the situation he put the club in at the first place. So, is it time to get rid of him? It's a very tough question. No,
It's
I don't think so. I don't think he's the problem. I think something is missing there. He's part of the problem because he has no one better to manage the things that he shouldn't manage, what basically Morata used to do.
yeah,
And maybe we need just another Morata there instead of just, throwing out everyone who we don't think is good enough for you.
yeah. And at the same time, you know, he has made certain decisions that came from him, and one was the appointment of Pirlo, and then to retract completely, and some of the direction I think currently and how we've gone on tilt, you can, trace to him. But again, he's done so much good over his time that I can't help but feel he deserves the opportunity to, get things right. But it's the same question we're asking everywhere along the line, like how long is the leash, right? How much more can you take? How much more can you watch? What's the breaking point? We have that same question with our coach currently. And we were getting into it a little bit at the start here, and now we'll probably dive in a little bit more, but Allegri as well. Like, how long is the leash? And the tough thing is that I see these conversations daily, and I got involved in one yesterday, and it said same thing as like a managerial change and whatnot. But the problem is, Juve just can't. They just can't afford another managerial change. So the fear is if Max can't get the ship right with the players he currently has. So for me, Max absolutely 1000% has to do better with the guys he currently has, regardless of their talent, regardless of anything. He has to start doing better because we cannot change. We cannot go through another managerial change. So he has to start getting these group of guys to play like a team. And it's the one thing I consistently go off, regardless of whether we feel that the roster isn't talented enough, which I will not disagree. It could it be stronger? Absolutely. Do we have higher salaries for guys that shouldn't be at that pay grade? Absolutely. We've got a very, very highly paid roster, and it doesn't really look as though it should be when you look at these guys. However, I see teams full of players that are not to the level of our guys that play as a coherent unit. That is the bare minimum I'm asking of our coach or any coach is to have them play as a unit and share the same ideas, philosophy on the pitch, and just play together as one. That's all I'm looking for. From there, the talent can take over, and then we could see shortcomings or whatnot. But when you can't even resemble a team on the pitch, to me, that goes far, far beyond just the level of the players. Do you agree with that, Omar?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's something is happening there that I can't quite put my finger on it, but this team has some failure to connect as just as a team, play together. Because I watch like Verona. Verona played amazingly attractive football. They score a lot of goals. Tudor is a new manager, just been appointed this summer. It's not like they have high profile names all over the pitch that make them better. There's just something there that makes them play together, some sort of system and philosophy, like you said. And that's what I'm currently not seeing at Juve. And there are some things that just blows my mind. I tweeted it like 2 days ago. The 4-4-2. Uh, if you don't have the players for it, just don't play it. You have never played this formation with Juve, and suddenly you're sticking to it like it's something that got you anything in the past. You don't have a left winger, so you rather play Rabiot there than change formation to to adjust for the players you do have. and that's all on Allegri, I assume. And something is just not connecting between the players themselves, the player and the managers, some of the players and the club, and I can't yet quite put my finger on it, but it's frustrating as hell to watch.
Yeah, it is. It's extremely frustrating. We know they're capable of more. We've seen it with this group of players. They can play some fantastic matches. The other thing that comes into question is why can't they get any consistency, any rhythm, and build off that. And then the second you see some rotation, it collapses. But not only that, just in general, now moving away from Allegri, going on to the players themselves. I've said this too, and I said it even last year. Even if Max gets this team playing like a unit, like a team, I still say we suffer and still have a tough time because I don't see a lot of. I just don't get the vibes from many of our players that they're battle ready, and like just able to give what it needs game in, game out. I look at the roster. There's a lot of guys that I can associate that with that just don't, I think, have it mentally to put themselves in the frame of mind and into the mindset of what it takes to put together these long streaks and do absolutely everything it takes, no matter what scenario. And that's the most important thing because I see it all over the body language on this team when they concede a goal.
Yeah,
And I've never seen a Juve like so weak, but over the past few years, it's gotten worse and worse when we concede a goal. The attitude, the response, just I'm not seeing it. And then also just the fact that you could turn it up, play good for 20 minutes of a match, and it's like, where's that effort? Where's that drive? Where is it consistently through matches? And getting it out of the gate. So, what do you think about that, Omer?
uh, look, the big problem is obviously is mentality. Something is lacking there in the mentality. We talked about it recently in our group chat. Like when you watch Atalanta, if you ask anyone what's their top 20 midfielders in Europe, no one would say Freuler or De Roon. But both of them put their hard arts on the pitch every match. Doesn't matter if it's Man City or they play Salernitana. And it goes for all the players in Atalanta. Like the mentality is there, even though they're not first place and they're not big names and everything, but they put their heart on the pitch every match, and I don't see that. I see Sandro losing balls on the left and doesn't even track him back to chase the guy that just took the ball from him. I see players throwing their hands up in the air when they lose the ball. I see players giving up on runs that they could have made, and that's just some mentality issue that. And basically, I've been there for 2 or 3 seasons now. It's not something that's related to Allegri. I was kind of hoping Allegri would make it better and give them back the energy and the drive and the meaning to play for Juve. And if you don't play that way, then you won't play. Period. But I don't see it now. I just don't see it happening, and I believe it's all mentality. If we look down on teams and then they come and surprise us, go play Salernitana like you tried to play Chelsea in the first match. Be the bigger club. Well, Chelsea is not a good example because they are better, but like you played Zenit. Okay, don't look down on these teams. Act like if it's Inter, and I'll guarantee you will win just by the mentality. But if you
Yeah.
let them attack, you let them run around the pitch, and they're not good enough, they're not going to score, then they'll score eventually. Just look at the Empoli game. A goal from nothing, and then we're chasing our own tails. And this team has failed to come back from deficits all season long. And other teams know that. Other teams know that if they score against Juve, we probably won't score two. The match is pretty much lost, and that's a frustrating thing as a fan to watch a match and know that when you concede, it's over. A win, we won't see a win here today.
Yeah. So we've got some questions coming in. David O'Neill actually coming in with what's Nedved's purpose? Can somebody answer me? So on alluvecast.com, our website, our team member Lou actually made a fantastic article that broke it down throughout year by year, actually, his roles with the club getting till now, till present, and what he actually has to do. So, real loosely, but the article's fantastic. Make sure you get over to the website and check it out. Essentially, it's just a bridge gap between players and the board and management. That's basically, essentially, in a nutshell, what he's to be doing. And a lot of people will look at that and just say nothing, and it's fair. It's fair to say really nothing, but that's what he's essentially supposed to do is be that bridge gap from management to the players. But yeah, I kind of agree with everything Omar was saying in getting back to the mentality of the players and whatnot. And you could just see it. You could see the guys switching off at the worst times, and you got errors happening all over the pitch. They're costing us goals. It's extremely frustrating to watch. And again, like if we go down the line of this team, Conte and getting into the question, still remaining around Allegri, and is Allegri the right guy and whatnot? Because a lot of fans are now saying you need somebody that can establish the proper culture and the proper frame of mind. And some are saying Allegri can't do that. And I found myself thinking about this yesterday, and I couldn't help but wonder. Well, I don't think that's right. I think that Allegri is fine for the culture and whatnot, and the work ethic that he puts forward and everything. And if I think back to when Conte came in and he got the players battle ready, they were ready to give every ounce that they had for the team. They worked hard, they trained hard. He changed diets, he got them all full on board, full commitment to the cause. When Max came in, that didn't simply fizzle away. Like that remained steady throughout Max's years. It started to fade towards the very, very end of Max's first tenure with Juventus. So I don't think he's not capable of having the right culture and mindset for the team. Do you agree with that, Omar?
I agree with what you said, but honestly, I love Conte right now because Allegri does have a tendency to keep playing guys that don't perform. And it was a problem before, but the team was overall better. But if Sandro played the way he played for Conte, one game where he doesn't track back a ball is lost, and he wouldn't see the pitch for 4 or 5 games. And that is something I kind of want to see right now. We're kind of having guys just laid back, knowing their spot is safe, and they're just underperform, and there's no ramification to it. They can keep doing it because there are no backups. And go even further back to Lippi. Lippi would play a 16-year-old Primavera kid over an underperforming player who doesn't act like he plays for Juve. And it's something I I wish we would start seeing soon because I'm kind of fed up with this attitude all over the pitch. And yeah, when Allegri first came in, he had player with this type of mentality that didn't need to be goaded into chasing back their attackers and anything. Lichtsteiner and Vidal and Tevez and this kind of monsters are always ready to fight. And this type of stuff didn't come from Juve, it's just in their mentality. So maybe there's a scouting issue here that we're not looking for the right type of mentality for you, but just looking at basically YouTube videos of players and then choosing them accordingly. That's
Yeah,
kind of how I feel about it.
I think I think it's everything. And the reason is like when you watch All or Nothing and you hear Agnelli speak about it's 800 of us. Juventus is 800. We all move in the same direction. We all do this. I can see and think of off the top of my head about 10 scenarios where that completely contradicts itself, you know? And when you bring in a player, no matter the name on the back of the jersey, if you're catering to one a bit more than the others and you allow him to get away with certain things that you don't allow others to, it starts to create this weird feeling around a team. And it's a dangerous part of sports when you get some of the big guys. And Juve, it's probably fair to say, has never seen someone in the stratosphere of a Ronaldo. But it was a dangerous thing for them to do. Um, Financially, obviously, that was proven, but nobody could foresee COVID happening, which put a big wrench on being able to maximize the revenue increase. So it just wiped all that out. But again, you're playing a dangerous game when you take somebody on of that level, of that ego, of that. Again, he's in his own stratosphere. Um, and if you start to change the level and everything, that how you treat players and everything, if there's some tendencies to be lax with him and not other guys, it creates a weird dynamic. Then all of a sudden, this culture that you believe in or whatnot is kind of discredited. And, you know, you go back to certain circumstances. You've just got a new coach in here. He's subbing Ronaldo. Ronaldo acts in his own manner. You don't back your coach. That creates a big issue. Agnelli would have to answer the call on that one, in my personal opinion. Um, Again, and this is just speaking to culture, because culture was always strong with Juventus. You know, going back Lippi days, even ahead of that or whatnot, the culture was massive. It was that, hey, we are 800 strong. We all move in the same direction. Nobody's above any of the others. We kind of got away from that. And players just today in general, there's again, like social media, like all this other, their own personal brand and whatnot. There's so much going on. There's so much that's different that it's easy to question their commitment to the cause. But when the rules are kind of shifted among certain players, when you're acting differently than what you speak to in forms of your own culture and your own beliefs, if you're not acting on that day to day, the culture is as good as gone. If you can't back it up and walk the walk day in, day out. Can you say that Juve has walked the walk on that culture in the past 3 years? Honestly, can you say that, Omar?
Oh, in the past 3 years?
In
No,
these past 3 years, can you
no,
say that our
no,
culture makes any sense
definitely
of
not.
what it's supposed to be?
No, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just say everything that happened after COVID started, take a bit with a grain of salt, even the Pirlo appointment. Like, I can't blame them all. I have no idea how finances work in this sort of, business. To say that this was the right call or wasn't the right call, it started with a bit when Ronaldo arrived, then Sarri just, you know, let it fly just out the window, try to bring in his own the things he believes, and that's when I felt it really. It was a really steep drop from there
Yeah.
to from players giving it all for the badge to players giving it all for themselves and nothing more.
Yeah. I think again, when you have a scenario like that, it throws the whole thing out of whack. When you have a manager that's here, your players are supposed to be here. Obviously, you have Nelly here, but when you have a player that makes his own decision and goes above the coach, and the guy up here allows it, well, now your whole hierarchy is
Mm.
laughable and it's out the window. So we have a lot of a lot of things to get right and whatnot, but establishing the culture is a big one. The question of, is Allegri the right guy? I don't think I could say no. I think he is the right guy, but I think again, the support needs to come from the top and they all need to get on the same page. And you're right too in saying the scouting at some point needs to start becoming about the characters as well. The tough thing is, feel like they're almost freewheeling sometimes in these mercados and these transfers because of now the financial strains and whatnot. But it needs to start making sense from the culture standpoint of if the guy's going to fit first and foremost, and that might actually get us further in the long run. But it's going to take a lot of work. Again, going into these mercados, people are expecting a big change in the summer. I don't actually believe that, to be honest. I think we're in for a couple rough years. And again, the circumstances surrounding Juventus right now are not the prettiest. So let's wait and see what happens there. The Mister Magician Allegri always joining us. And here's here. I don't know. Yeah, my Apple Watch decided Siri was going to talk here for a second. So, Omar, another question looming about Allegri. We talked about mentality. We talked about the culture. Is he the right guy? Whatnot. Allegri, the management changes between Pirlo, Sarri, and Yeli as a whole. Somebody said the issue is that we've tried to reset too many times. But I see it differently. I see us not resetting at all really or properly. Okay? Now somebody considered us being in a reset when we brought in Pipita. Okay? And I said, "Well, that's not a reset. That's retooling." Like that's just kind of like a slight adjustment, and they kept the winning going and whatnot. And there's the talk about us going away from the winning formula, and there was no need for change at the time. I can't necessarily disagree with that maybe we shouldn't have changed, but I did see a team that was becoming quite stale in all aspects, culture included. And I don't fault our team for trying to be proactive and trying to be ahead of the game and attempting a change. What I fault them for is when it doesn't work out, bailing completely on that vision. But that vision was never really strongly set out as to what they're going to do. It's about as scrambled as their Super League announcement was. Do you feel the same way there, Omar?
Uh, yeah, it was actually a lot. You touched a lot of good points. And yeah, we kind of stepped away from some sort of culture. And I feel like every year it was like Yugo was this great building that everyone sees and marvels at. And, pieces started falling one bit at a time. And now Allegri came in and he needs to build that building back again to make it marvelous again. But these type of things just take a lot of time. If the management knew that that's what they gave him for a contract, not just 1 year. You have 1 year to fix that or you're gone. And at some point, you just gotta stop trying to do the same thing and hope it would work. So it didn't work with Sarri. It didn't work with Pirlo. Now it supposedly isn't working with Allegri. Are you going to try again? And when that fails again, and at what point do you say, okay, let's stop with that and reconsider everything and start from scratch? And is it, just is changing the manager always the only solution we have? Because there are other solutions, I believe, that aren't always manager related. A reset doesn't necessarily mean just changing the manager and boom, you have a reset. Maybe you need to change some players. Maybe you need to change some staff. I don't know, medical staff. And maybe you need to change the scouting staff and the way you approach it. But all in all, it feels like all of these departments are damaged in some sort of way, and it will take a lot of time to fix it. I'm like you. I think we have a couple of rough years ahead of us.
Yeah. I can't help but feel the same, unfortunately. But yeah, I think we got some rough years ahead. Now, in speaking to this again with the resets, people are saying, well, we reset with Pipita, and then there was a reset even when we brought in Dybala. And I said, those aren't resets. That's a simple retooling. And looking at the state of the team and the levels of the players that were there at the time, that wasn't a reset by any
No,
means.
it's preparing for
Yeah,
the
like
future.
saying that we reset when we had to move away from Marquisio, Vidal, and Pirlo and Pogba, those aren't resets. We never reset after that point. We were just retooling and whatnot. And the players around were still, the core was still at a level where this team could compete. So when you look at Juve kind of now, currently where they sit, this is in need of a proper and true reset. Like this is now where we need to reset. We needed to reset towards the end of Allegri's first tenure, and we started to go with something, but when they didn't feel the manager was right or whatnot, and this is where we get into the coaches. I can completely understand getting away from Sarri. If he does not have the majority of the locker room, it's not worth keeping him around. That's a wash. I can understand them going away from that. You bring Pirlo in. Was Pirlo bad enough that he did not deserve another year? And this is the tough thing because we give our answers speculating from the outside looking in as fans. But behind the scenes and being there all the time, like Agnelli's got to have a solid damn reason to get away from a rookie manager because he pulled two trophies. And was it that bad? Like for his first season, getting the two trophies, granted the 10 Scudetto slid away, but I don't necessarily know because now going back to Allegri, and I was for it. I just thought, hey, if you're going to try to get something going, I thought the culture needed to be corrected. And I still believe Allegri's the right guy for the culture. If you're going to make this switch leaves fans feeling like it's giving up on that vision or where they wanted to go and just saying, hey, you know what? Let's just go backwards. Do you get that feeling?
Of course, we talked about it recently. I used to be a navigator. I used to navigate, just dead lands with a map and the stars and a compass, and that's it. And when you get lost, when you navigate, the first thing you do is go back to the last position you knew where you were at. And that's kind of how I feel like what Juve did. Okay, we kind of lost ourselves, kind of lost our way. Allegri was the last point we knew what we were doing. Let's go back and let's say reset. But there's a big difference between reset and preparing to the future. That Tevez left. Okay, bring in Dybala. That's not a reset. That's preparing for the times after Tevez. And same with Pipita. He came in with the right mentality, and he did give us a lot of great moments. It wasn't a reset. We just needed a new striker. That's about it. But right now, it's a lot of departments are basically damaged, and now you need a reset. When the entire system is broken, that's when you need a reset, not when there's one specific problem that needs to be adjusted.
Yeah.
And it kind of just happened through the years, bit by bit. It wasn't something big that made everything crumble. It just a piece here, a piece there, and now we got to pick up all the pieces one by one. And that kind of stuff doesn't happen in one summer.
So Pirlo this season minus Ronaldo would be in the exact same position Allegri currently is in. I feel mixed on this one. I kind of do feel the same, like it would be the exact same. However, I think Pirlo would have attempted many different things by now. And that's part of the thing that's frustrating me with Allegri is it's very hard. And this is why some can potentially doubt if he's right for the culture, because if you have guys that are consistently underperforming and in poor form and they continue to start while you have other alternatives and options, that's simply on the manager. And he's creating an environment where there is no battle for starting positions. And that is a dangerous game to play. And I don't like it. So
And you
I
don't
feel
want to see
mixed
some of
about
them play.
this because even Pirlo in his last season, Um, he tried a lot of different things. How he ended up on the 4-4-2, how he was thinking was the best, I don't know. But I also saw a massive, massive drop in mentality from the players when they lost the title race, when they knew the title race was out. I saw a massive, massive drop. The loss to Porto was essentially the killer as well. And I see, again, a weak group, a weak minded group of players. So, yeah, to say that they would probably end up in the same place, sure. But would Pirlo have at least attempted a lot of different things with his team? I'd probably say he would have. And this is the one frustration I have with Allegri currently is he needs to stop being stubborn and use the alternatives and stop rewarding guys with starts that just don't deserve it. Agree with that, Omar?
Yeah, and I kind of see like there are a lot of players on the team that I don't want to see play, and it's something pretty new to me. Because even when we had Storaro and Lamina, I wanted to see them play, even though they were. And right now we have like seven midfielders, and I want to see two of them play. The rest, not that much, and it's kind of a
Yeah.
weird feeling. And let's not act like Pirlo didn't have setbacks that he had to deal with. He had to go the entire season basically without Dybala, his MVP, his best player, and he had to deal with Ronaldo as a rookie coach, which is not easy at all. And he had to play Frabotta, and he was more of a mentality of trying youngsters and giving them opportunities. And right now, I feel like Allegri is exactly the opposite. As long as the veteran player is available, the young guy won't see the pitch, and I can't support it because it doesn't look like we're planning ahead. It looks like we're treading water, just running in the
Yeah.
spot, not progressing.
Yeah. Well, that was a lengthy discussion on news and just opinions, and
Like I
it
want to
wasn't
jump
supposed
off
to
a
be that
building.
long. But without further ado, we're gonna get to today's match, Salernitana. We're gonna start with the trivia, and it's extremely difficult when you've only played a team four times officially.
Four, four,
So
yeah.
four official matches, but who's the leading goal scorer in this fixture?
Okay, so I remember playing Salernitana in somewhere in the 90s, in the late 90s. And so obviously two legs. I don't know where the other two games were. It might have been
Well,
in the
let's go like this
50s.
because this might help. This might help. What year was the last time these teams met? We'll go with that question first because this may help you unlock some, because this is very challenging trivia. Like, it's hard. I didn't
Yeah.
know these answers. So what was the last year these teams met?
Uh, like I said, late 90s, I believe like 98, 99 season, maybe before that, 97,
Un
98.
Unreal. 98, 99. So 98, 99
Yes.
season.
Yes.
So that was the last time they played. Who won that match and what was the score?
Uh, they played twice. Which
They
one of the
played
matches?
twice in that season. Yeah, so the very last time that they
The
played.
very last time. I'll go with a Juve win. It's a bet, I guess, because it's Salernitana and it's Juve. Um, Although these were the type of matches we used to lose occasionally. The last one, I'll go with the Juve win, maybe 1-0, 2-0.
So you got the score right. So half point there because it was 1-0. Salernitana won the game 1-0.
Okay, and who won the first match?
Well, there was another three matches outside of that.
No, in the same season.
Same
The
season. It was Juventus. So who's the leading goal scorer in this fixture?
Did we win by more than one goal in the match we won? I don't know. It's a bet. I could say Inzaghi. I can say Kovacic, Zidane, Del Piero. Not Kovacic,
Kovacic? It
Uh,
was Inzaghi. People, he got a hat
Inzaghi.
trick.
Okay. Okay,
Oh,
that's a quarter point.
so which forward has a goal in this fixture? Okay, he's amongst the leaders, only with one goal because they've only played 4 times. So which forward has a goal in this fixture for Salernitana, but
Oh,
also represented Juventus at one point?
oh, that's a tough one. Who has a goal there? Was
We're making
he?
you earn your keep today, Omar. This is tough.
Yeah, yeah, that's a tough one.
This is tough
Was
one.
he? Was he like a Juve legend or just someone on the roster who played here and there and left?
He was not a legend.
But I should remember him. Uh, let's look at the comments if anyone has any idea. Oh, and Imes said Fortunato, so yeah, let's go with Fortunato. I have no other idea.
Di Vaio.
Marco Di Vaio, who one of the most horrible injuries I've seen.
And you
If
know what?
anyone,
It's interesting because now that they say Fortunato, he might also qualify under the same things. I'd have to dig deeper into that one and find out. So interesting. We got some of the
yeah,
live
but Di
chat getting
Vaio,
in there.
but it didn't move from Salernitana to Juve. He came from Di Vaio,
That's
I
the
mean.
part that I don't think, like, I'm not sure Fortunato was a part of Salernitana. I know he's from Salerno there, so I don't actually know. But yeah, Marco Di Vaio. It was extremely hard today. But man, you were all over it because you knew the years late 90, got 98, 99. You pulled out people's name amongst the list. You just ended up going with Kovacevic. So you're still extremely strong, Omar. Don't feel bad. This was a very, very
Yeah.
tough one today.
Okay, so what if I have one for you? A question for you and for anyone in the comments can join in. What do you say? Are you up for it?
Oh yeah. Let's
Okay,
give it a whirl here.
okay. Let's see how many capocannoniere you can name from the past 20 years, and how many were from you.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm not gonna name many past 20 years. Well, what? Obviously Ronaldo, Chiro, Higuain. I'm trying to think back here. How far back? 20. Wow.
Let's say to 2000.
Yeah. But those are multiple years in there too. Like Chiro's got a few years, I think.
That's correct.
Chiro's got a few years. I think even Pipita had a few years.
No, Pivita had one,
Just one
but
year where he was Capocannoniere?
yeah, the
Del Piero
36
had
one.
Capocannoniere.
That's true.
Totti.
That's also true.
Totti had Capocannoniere. Del Piero had Capocannoniere. Years back to 2000s. Oh man, I'm trying to think way back then.
Think of Italian strikers in the 2000 decade to 2010.
I know it's just my memories not where I need it. What do we got here? Trezeguet is a shout from someone live.
That's
Trezeguet
correct.
I think had it one year, didn't he?
Trezeguet won, yeah.
Yeah. Um, when Udinese had Di Natale, did Di Natale end up with one?
Twice.
Okay. Because and was Quagliarella was with Di Natale during those years too, but I don't think Quagliarella
I'll give
won.
you that because Quagliarella won before Ronaldo in 2019. Quagliarella
There
was
you go. Yeah, so
before.
Quagliarella.
Oh, you
Um,
forgot someone who was very dominant in the past decade, just not for Juve.
I'm trying to think here.
Okay, we're linked to him every summer.
Icardi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Icardi.
Icardi was a capocannoniere.
Okay, some Napoli legend.
Napoli legend.
Yeah,
He's playing elsewhere now. Currently, still playing.
yeah, still playing.
Cavani.
In the, yeah,
Yeah, Cavani.
Cavani.
Um, 20 years
That's
ago, I can't remember the years. Was R9 around in the
No,
2000s? He was
no.
already gone, I
He
think.
was, but he didn't want. No, he left. I think in 2002, but
He
he
won
didn't
it
win it
one year, though, I'm pretty sure.
in the
Maybe a
'90s,
couple.
maybe.
I can't recall, but yeah, Cavani. I don't know if some of these other guys got it. There's a lot of shouts in the live. I don't know if Luca Toni got one. I don't
Look at
think
Tony got
so.
twice.
Did he?
Twice, yeah.
So Luca Toni, Vieri. Did Vieri?
Vieri, that's correct, yeah.
There's a shout there for Zlatan.
Zlatan, twice, actually, for Inter and for Milan.
There you go. And I think we've covered all. I don't see any guesses from the live outside of those guys. Yeah, no. R9, Vieri, Zlatan, Cavani. That's pretty much it. Luca
Okay.
Toni. There was a
You
shout for Matri.
No, Madrid didn't win it,
Yeah,
but
somebody had Matri in here.
no, but you have you were pretty close. You almost got everyone because a lot of them won it twice. Look at Tony in two different decades. You forgot Edin Dzeko won it. You
Dzeko.
forgot Lucarelli. Do you remember Lucarelli?
Who?
Lucarelli.
Lucarelli. I don't.
Yeah.
Big Bandisi throwing out Hernan Crespo. That would have been
Hernan
90s.
Crespo, yeah, that's correct.
Crespo was a
With
beast, yeah.
Lazio. And another Milan player. I'll give you the last one you didn't name.
Another Milan player.
Yeah.
Kaká.
No.
Kaká
But
did
same
Kaká ever
period.
win it? He scored
No,
a lot of
not
goals,
in Italy.
man, for attacking mid.
Yeah, but he had two very good strikers ahead of him. One of them won it twice.
I'm trying to think back there. Because who the heck did they have, man? Like Zlatan went there. They had
Okay.
Shevchenko.
Yeah, that's it.
Andriy
Shevchenko.
Shevchenko. Oh,
Yeah,
look at
and there
that.
was
Dropping it too. Sheva. There we
yeah,
go.
and you had Dario Hobner somewhere there, but that's it. You named everyone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we managed to make some decent trivia out of a 4-match fixture
Yeah.
list. Going with the Capo Cagnoneri for the past 20 years. Nice. Very, very nice. Okay, Omar.
Yeah.
Starting lineup projected. We saw one yesterday that many would thought it could potentially be the switch we've all been calling for, which is to 4-3-3. Having Dybala outright, Quadrado behind him on fullback, Keane centering it with, it was Keane on the left with Morata in the hole. No, it would be Keane
No, I
and
saw Keane instead of Morata.
Bernardeschi on the left, Keane as your 9, Dybala on the right. Midfield had Bentancur, Locatelli, Rabiot, and at the back was all the same. Quadrado. You might have had a switch between Chiellini and Bonucci with De Ligt, and then Sandro. I actually felt pretty positive about that. Number one, we have to be serious about Salernitana, and no disrespect to that team, but you don't need a whole lot tactically or strategy wise to beat these guys. I talked about in my tactical breakdown. They are a mess in organization. They collapse very, very tight at the back, and they drop almost 6 right back. Trailing runs, top of the area is always open. Get your shooting boots on, go at them, play fast, and attack. And with those guys, I would feel fine with this. But the common issues that everybody seemed to be against that formation was, number one, the left side, saying the left side is absolutely brutal in the fact that you would have Sandro, Rabiot ahead of him, and then Bernardeschi ahead of him. Number one, I see no problems with Bernardeschi. I don't have any issues with Bernardeschi. Allegri allows him to play in a manner that gets something more than the others these past couple of years could get out of Bernardeschi. So I had no problem with that. I do have an issue with playing Rabiot and Bentancur at the same time, but I would probably deal with it if we were going to set up in this setup. Sandro at left back. If Pellegrini is available, I'd probably go with Pellegrini. But again, even if Sandro's out there, we have to be serious about Salernitana. You got to get the job done. This 4-3-3, I would be fine with. Today we see a different projected lineup. But before we move on to that, what would be your thoughts on this lineup that we're talking about hypothetically if we were to go with that? Would you be fine with it?
Uh, if it's a 4-3-3, yeah, playing Bentancur and Rabiot together, always give me the chills every time I see it. But Weston is out. I was kind of hoping Arthur will get some minutes because it's Salernitana, and if trying anything new, then that might be the match because they're a mess. Like in every stat, they're the last in the league: chance creation, conceding goals, scoring, everything. They're just last. So I would rather see some, Pellegrini play and maybe even the winter. But if that's what we have to do, 4-3-3 against them, yeah. If I see Rabiot on the left again with Sandro, then we deserve to lose. What can I say? And what
Yeah.
what have you seen from both of them on the left that justifies keep trying it and keep playing it? I could understand if you've seen something and say, okay, there's a potential there, but I've seen literally nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. So one of the things I do like about that hypothetical lineup is the fact that you would have Dybala on the flank that you would most likely attack with because Quadrado's behind. So that could slide Dybala centrally and free him up. The other potential there is that Bernardeschi could slide centrally and play in the hole, and then Dybala could be higher up and play off of Keane. And Bernardeschi has the versatility to do that. And Dybala has the ability to also slide centrally and do that. So I really like having that and having those options. I still think there would be somebody that needs to be a little more direct. But Keane can play an overall game. He can give you a decent amount of hold up if you need it, but he knows how to attack spaces and he can give you quite a bit. So, and again, Morata just on a personal level, on a personal performance level, has not been cutting it. So, getting a little bit of change there, I'm fine with it. Now, let's get to what is actually projected. Guys, ready? Is everybody ready live? 4-4-2. 4-4-2. Okay. Chesney, Quadrado, Bonucci, Delict, Pellegrini, Kulishevsky, Bentancur, Locatelli, Bernardeschi with Dybala and Keane up top. Your
Let's go.
thoughts on this one now, Omar?
Let's go. Let's go. I have nothing further to add. I
Yeah,
don't know.
so you
Let's
split up
cater to the fans.
you
Zule
split up
instead of
Bentancur and Rabiot. That's a plus. They should never
yeah.
share the pitch together, in my personal opinion. So you split those two up. You have Kulishevsky and Bernardeschi on the outsides. Makes sense. Players that can play the outside, put them on the outside. Okay. Dybala and Keane up top. Great. Great. Again, though, we will just see how we create and where the creation comes from and whatnot. It might still be a little bit awkward, but this is much better in terms of personnel and in their positions. I don't think it can be argued. Agree with that, Omer?
Yeah, yeah. That if you're going with a 4-4-2, these are the players you need to use because these guys at least playing their familiar roles and not shifting all across the pitch. It looks like if I was a different fan and was facing this team, then I would be worried a bit. It looks more balanced. Um, and that's it. I'd roll with this lineup. Looks fine. Nothing further to add. Drop Morata, drop Sandro, the guys who underperformed, drop Rabio, and luckily Bernardeschi is back. So yeah, that it looks great.
There you go. We need a win no matter what. Doesn't matter who the hell's out there. They got to get the job done. Max has put out personnel. If this is what he goes with, that makes sense. The players in their roles. So, yeah, just go out there, get the job done. Salernitana is last. They have only scored, I believe, 11 goals, we're not much better, only scoring 18, but we've got to make a statement game here. They need a big win. Juve needs to make this comfortable, get some rotation in. I'd love to see Sule be in there, get a few minutes in a game that we have under control, and then move on. This next string of matches is a time for Juventus to establish some consistency, some rhythm, and some good form, and they need to take advantage of that big time. So it starts today with Salernitana. Without further ado, the predictions. We are going to give our predictions, and we're going to get everybody that's joining us live to share your predictions too. We're going to get the tiebreakers out of the gate, and this, of course, is brought to you by Striped Tarts Apparel. The website's at the top of the screen, stripedtartsapparel.com. Check them out. They just dropped they dropped a great Moji tee that came out with some Godfather hints there in it, which is fantastic. There's a new charcoal heather zip up that's with the custom crest, looks sharp. And I'm today sporting the For the Stripes design, which is one of probably my favorites. But yeah, check them out. And there's free shipping now anywhere on qualifying orders. So make sure you check it out and show some love to our main sponsor. Now, let's go. Offsides, total offsides.
The regular question, if Morata isn't playing, then I'll go with 3. If he is playing, 5.
All right. I still don't think we play a game to generate enough of them. So yeah, I'm gonna say maybe 2 or 3. I'll go 3. First card, which team
Oh, I hate this one.
and the minute.
Because this is an absolute guess. I have nothing to go by. I can guess Bentancur would get a yellow card. That's actually a better question. A better question. When will Bentancur get a yellow card?
You want to change it up for this one, and we'll say when will Benta get his yellow?
Yeah.
But if he doesn't play, it kind of goes for naught. He'll play though.
Yeah.
I'll say Bentancur gets his in 57th.
I'll go with 70 minutes.
But for my first card, I'm going to say it's going to be Salernitana, and I'm going to say the 41st minute.
Yeah, I'll go with Juve in the 50th minute.
Possession split.
Oh, we should dominate. Should be like, 68-32.
Yeah, I was going to say 67-33, 66-34. I'll go 66-34 Juve. Now, total attempts and how many on target for Juventus?
15 and 7.
15 and 7. Yeah, I'm going to go 14 and 6. 14 and 6.
Am I stealing
Halftime
yours
score.
again? 2-0 Juve.
2-0 Juve at the half. I will go with actually the same. 2-0 Juve at half. What's your full-time score?
3-0.
3-0. I'm going 4-0 win today for Juve.
It's brave.
It is probably ridiculous, but we need to get it right. We need
Very
it.
brave.
We need a lot of goals, and we need to get it happen. So I'm going to believe. Goal scorers. Who do you have for your goal scorers?
I'm gonna say Keane, Dybala, and Bonucci. You know what? Let's go with the odd Kulusevski goal here.
Okay, I like that call. I'm gonna go with Dybala on a brace. Keane will get one, and I'm gonna actually say that one of the defenders bangs one in. We'll go with Delict will be in there, so I'll say Delict header on a corner or something. That'll be one. Man of the match. Way too early. Man of the match.
Dybala.
Dybala. Dybala's my man of the match as well. Anthony coming in with 4-0. Lucas saying 2-1. Big
Anthony stinks.
Bandeezy coming in with 4-0. Same. So we got some 4-0s. Omar's at 3-0. Lucas saying you guys are way too confident. It's not even so much confidence. It's just we need it. And I'm being hopeful. It's not necessarily confident.
It's very much hopeful. I'm not confident we're going
Yeah,
to win
it's
here. I'm
very much
definitely not
being
confident.
hopeful and
I'm
not
pretty
not
confident
confident.
we'll concede one goal, but I bet against a win,
Yeah,
against an Atalanta win. I can bet against Juve twice against Salernitana, but I think we will concede, although I won't bet on it. I
yeah,
think they'll find a way to
yeah.
score.
We also needed to beat Atalanta. Luca, do not ever, ever compare Atalanta and Salernitana. That's just ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Okay. So, yeah, we need to win a bottom feeder. Everything going on, whatnot. Perfect opportunity for this team to
Yeah,
start
like,
to take advantage of this next 5 matches
yeah,
with the
yeah.
schedule. Chiesa's out,
Like,
and honestly, the one good thing about it is it couldn't happen at a better time schedule wise. Because
yeah,
if you're gonna have to lose Chiesa for 6 matches, let it be these 6 matches. And I think we can all agree with that. Everybody, again, thank you for joining us live. Omar, absolute pleasure. Fantastic job on one of the most difficult trivias probably ever faced and probably will ever have to. And we had a lot of fun, a lot of great discussion, and great comments from everybody live, especially in regards to the investigation and Allegri and Yeli, everything going on right now. But again, today, Salernitana's ahead of us. There's no excuses. And with all the other news and everything going on, we remain strong. Win, loss, draw, whatever. We will be back with you tomorrow morning live. We aren't going anywhere, regardless of what happens. We stand tall and we stand behind the stripes. Check out our sponsor, stripedheartsapparel.com. Don't forget, head over to the website, alluvcast.com, for some great articles as well. And of course, Fino alla fina, Forza Juventus. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully celebrating a big victory. Ciao tutti.